We've got the Porsche Macan and the BMW X3 in our comparison.
Two luxury compact utilities, a premium on performance and handling. Let's get into it.
There are 3 Macan models to choose from, and they all get a bump in horsepower for 2022. The base model has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with a 7-speed automatic transmission, 261 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. The Macan S has 375 horsepower and the GTS 434 horsepower. Standard all-wheel drive, and you have to put premium fuel in the Macan.
There are 4 X3 models available, from the base 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It has 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. There's the M40i with a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine, also turbocharged, 382 horsepower. Plus there's a plug-in hybrid with 288 horsepower. Then there's the top-of-range X3M with 503 horsepower. The plug-in hybrid we just mentioned is not available in the US any longer. And you guessed it, the X3 runs on premium gas.
The Macan is a great handling crossover with a sport-tuned chassis that really lets you feel the road. There is an emphasis on performance with crisp steering and an engaging ride, and offers the practicality of a utility vehicle with the drive of a sport sedan. For those of you who want to enhance the Macan's handling, you can add active suspension, adaptive air suspension, and a torque vectoring differential. The GTS model comes standard with both adaptive air suspension and active suspension management.
The X3 is also fun and entertaining to drive, but a lot of times it depends on which model you choose. It has a well-balanced ride and responsive steering, but the steering is lighter than we expected compared to the outgoing model. The suspension doesn't disappoint, providing firmness to keep it exciting but not compromising the comfort. The M40i now comes standard with a mild 48-volt hybrid system for improved fuel economy.
One thing I found about the X3, we just reviewed the M40i, and I was a little bit surprised by how light the steering is and how the suspension isn't as firm as what I felt in the outgoing model. It's just not as responsive, and it seems like BMW is moving in the direction of Audi, maybe appealing to a broader range of people.
So the base X3 has a good sort of all-round kind of a feel. When you add the base X3 with a sport package, it changes things. Then you go up in engines and suspension calibrations, and things change. Now, the one thing in favor of BMW, though, Andrea, is on all models you do get the suspension changes. That comes standard equipment. So you can go from mild to a little bit firmer, but to your point, it isn't as planted feeling as the Porsche.
No, not at all. I just think that the Porsche has more of a athleticism to it, but I lean towards the Macan more for performance now.
The Macan, here's the easiest way to describe it in my opinion. It handles more like a car than it does like an SUV. And that's a pretty good way to sum it up.
Yeah. The Macan gets some new exterior styling touches for 2022, which include a redesigned spoiler, side blades, rear fascia, diffuser, new sport mirrors, and wheel designs. The Macan comes standard with 19-inch wheels, up from 18-inch on the previous model, with available 20-inch and 21-inch wheels. The base model has standard black brake calipers. The S and GTS models get red. There are new color options this year, including Papaya Metallic on our test model. The Macan comes with a spare tire.
The X3 also got an update for 2022 with a redesigned grille, new adaptive LED headlamps, and LED tail lamps. The headlights have been lowered by about 10 millimeters. It also gets updated front and rear bumpers, new wheel designs, and tweaked exhaust tips. The X3 comes standard with satin aluminum trim, 19-inch wheels with run-flat tires. 20-inch and 21-inch wheels are available. If you're looking for a sportier look, you can add the M Sport package for M aerodynamic body styling, black roof rails, high gloss black exterior trim with M Sport brakes in blue.
I really like the redesign of the X3. I really like everything about it. I know that back end and those taillights you aren't a big fan of, Zach.
No, they're trying to do this three-dimensional lighting that we're seeing with the new BMWs, like as though the lights stick out from the body and they accentuate them. It's not the best in my opinion. I like the new exhaust finishers though. I think those look good. The front is good, the side is good. I just don't like the lights, and we've seen that in other vehicles that they have this new light treatment. But over at Porsche, man, they nailed it. They always seem to keep their A game for the facelifted model.
Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about the Porsche. I really like what they've done. That refresh looks perfect.
Would you order it in Papaya?
I would. Here's our used car alternative from CanadaDrives.ca. We chose a 2018 Porsche Macan base model with 31,546 kilometers for $56,500 Canadian. Click on the tab or the link in the description below to find more vehicles in this category from CanadaDrives.ca.
We do this comparison twice in a week. You're watching it on YouTube, but the day before, Andrea drops it on Instagram, Motormouth_Andrea. We collect some comments and read them out.
I own a 2018 M40i, and it's a great car and will continue to drive the you-know-what out of it a few more years. But honestly, as much as I enjoy the drive, I don't need that much power. So next time, I'm probably going to get the base Macan. Such a good car. I don't buy the same car twice. Life is too short.
If they were the same price, spec for spec, the Macan, but the X3 is much better value for what you get. You can get a decently spec'd M40i for a well-equipped base Macan and get 120 more horsepower and 2 more cylinders.
This one is a tough one for me. I've had 2 BMWs and loved them both, but Porsche has been capturing my attention lately. I say I'll go with the Macan.
I'm not a BMW person at all, but the X3 has grown on me. Mercedes interiors have turned very nightclubby with all interior accent lighting. A friend said it best, BMW interiors aren't boring, they're like a fine tailored suit. I'm starting to understand this analogy. Thick leather seats, the use of good materials, and restrained in anything overly shiny makes a very timeless interior. Sadly, the X3 will probably be the last show of restraint from BMW.
The Macan gets quite a few changes to the interior for 2022. The biggest is to the center console. Gone are all those buttons. The Macan has joined the Cayenne and Panamera with touch-sensitive controls, creating a slick and modern design. The crossover also gets a new shifter and steering wheel in the refresh. The Macan comes standard with a 10.9-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple Carplay. There is no Android Auto available. Heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, 8-way power seats, a power tailgate, and a 10-speaker audio system. We recommend adding either the Premium package or the Premium Plus package to get some of those extra features. The first package gets you LED headlights with the Porsche Dynamic Light System, a Bose sound system, lane change assist, and heated rear seats. Premium Plus gets you all those features, plus ventilated front seats, a panoramic sunroof, and 14-way power seats with memory package. 18-way power seats are available. And there are plenty of a la carte items if you don't want to add a package, including the panoramic sunroof for under $2,000 Canadian and US.
The updated X3 gets a few minor tweaks for 2022. The center console now features high-gloss black trim and new controls for the air conditioning system. BMW now offers an available 12.3-inch touchscreen and digital gauge display. Standard is a 10.25-inch touchscreen. X3 models come with faux leather seats as standard. It's called Sensatec. The only one that comes with real merino leather as standard equipment is the X3M. However, you can upgrade to Vernasca leather or merino leather on some trims. Standard features on the base model include a heated steering wheel, power seats, driver's seat memory, heated front sport seats, Apple Carplay, and Android Auto. In the Canadian market, we recommend getting the Premium package on the base model for features like comfort access, ambient lighting, a panoramic roof, and lumbar support. The Premium Enhanced package adds some features like park assist with a surround view camera, a head-up display, a leatherette dashboard, and a Harman Kardon sound system. Just like Porsche, there's a la carte items available like ventilated front seats and heated rear seats, but these features can only be added if you get the leather seats to start with. In the United States, there are two packages to choose from on the base model, one called the Convenience and the other one Premium.
There's one big miss in the Macan: no Android Auto. We recently drove the new Cayenne. It did get an upgrade to the infotainment system. This Macan didn't. And this is a time where we need Android Auto, Porsche. So one of the biggest changes to the Macan is that center console. There are no more buttons. Do I miss it? We're sitting in a Cayenne right now that has all of those physical buttons, and guess what? I love it. So do I miss it? Yes. Do I like the new Macan interior? I do. It is sleek and it's modern.
Is it a deal breaker?
No, it's not a deal breaker.
That's the thing.
For me.
Are the new buttons or the lack of buttons going to stop you from getting it? No, they're not.
Definitely not. One thing I find about the X3, it's all very familiar, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You've got that center console dial to control the touch screen. You can avoid any fingerprints, which I know Zach likes. But I'm finding that the seats in the X3 are getting firmer. It's the sport seats. Now, when we reviewed the X5 and it had the upgraded comfort seats, I found them to feel very comfortable. I'm having trouble getting comfortable in the sport seats these days in BMWs.
One thing I'll say, you talked about the X5. The difference in the interior quality from the X3 to the X5 is like night and day. The X5 has a much nicer interior. The difference between the Macan and the Cayenne interior, it's pretty much the same, it's only bigger.
Yes, true. With a leatherette interior being the same on all models of the X3, whether you get that base model or you get the M40i. Of course, you can upgrade in a package, but I still think if you're paying that much for an M40i, you should at least start with Vernasca leather.
So Andrea's done some homework for you. She spec'd out two very similarly equipped cars, and how did they land?
So I did the same thing with both 20-inch wheels. I picked the color Tanzanite that we had in our M40i model, which I really like. Picked papaya exterior color for the Macan. I added each a package, and I ended up coming out to just over $69,000 with the Macan and just over $68,000 with the X3. Now, I did add that M package. You know, I like the black accents on the X3. If you don't get that package, you're just over $64,000. But what it comes down to is I get that performance of a Macan. Yes, they're 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engines.
You also get the badge.
And I get the badge. It does change, of course, when you move up to the Macan S or the GTS versus the M40i. There is a lot of value with the M40i for sure.
The other thing to factor into the price is BMW has 3-year scheduled maintenance included. So that's worth something into your wallet as well.
The X3 offers more second row legroom, space behind the second row, and overall cargo capacity compared to the Macan. Let's start with the Macan first, and let's start with pricing. The base Macan in Canada is $58,500. In the US, just under $55,000. The Macan S is just over $70,500 Canadian and just under $65,500 US. The Macan GTS is $85,500 Canadian and just under $80,000 US. J.D. Power has not yet rated the 2022 Macan, but the 2021 model gets a quality and reliability score of 82 out of 100. CarEdge states the Macan will retain 51% of its value after 5 years. Here's the fuel economy for the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. 12.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.3 on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city, 25 miles per gallon highway. The Macan can tow 4,400 pounds and has a warranty of 4 years or 80,000 kilometers, 50,000 miles.
Here's the pricing for the X3. In the US, you get a base rear-wheel drive model for just under $44,000. The first all-wheel drive base model in Canada is just under $53,000. The plug-in hybrid not available in the US is just under $55,000 Canadian. The M40i is just under 70,000 Canadian and just under 58,000 in the United States. The top dog, the X3M, is just under $94,000 Canadian, just over 70,000 in the United States. J.D. Power gives the X3 an impressive quality and reliability score of 81 out of 100. CarEdge states the X3 will retain 47% of its value after 5 years. Here's the fuel economy for the base 4-cylinder engine. 11 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.5 on the highway. That's 21 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. Towing capacity is 4,400 pounds. BMW offers a warranty of 4 years with 80,000 kilometers or 50,000 miles, plus no charge scheduled maintenance for 3 years or up to 60,000 kilometers on all 2022 models.
Well, the pricing in Canada versus the US for the BMW, there is a substantial difference. Like, we're paying a lot more in Canada.
But if you look at the Porsche products, especially with the higher end ones, the differential in Canada to the US, when you factor in the currency exchange, they're actually cheaper in Canada. So maybe there's some value for Canadians to get a Porsche in comparison to the United States. But the other way around for BMW.
Yes. Now, a lot of people ask the question, what is the maintenance on the X3 and the Porsche Macan, and how do they compare? Well, I pulled some numbers from Repair Pal, and it shows that the Porsche Macan is just over $1,200 US for annual maintenance and repairs that are unscheduled. And the X3 is just over $1,000. So compared to something like a Lexus RX, unfortunately the NX was not listed, and it's about $550 US, and something like the Acura RDX is just over $450.
Okay, so with BMW, you get the 3-year maintenance, right?
Yeah.
So that's your oil changes, when they check everything, all of that is included in the price. You're paying for it, but it's in the price of the car. So a lot of the costs of ownership for owning a prestige car come down to things, the consumables that are not covered under warranty or under a maintenance package.
No.
Tires and brakes. Now, these vehicles, because they run on performance tires and because they're performance vehicles, they have big, chunky brakes. When they need to be replaced, they're expensive.
Yeah.
Now, these tires will wear out quicker than your Toyota Camry, and when you go to buy them, they're spendy. And the brakes, like we're sitting in our Porsche Cayenne right now. If we needed to replace all the brakes on this car, rotors and also the calipers, or the brake pads, I should say, it would be probably around $3,000.
Yeah, it gets up there for sure. And the average for a luxury compact SUV is about $856 US. So you can see that the X3 and the Macan are definitely going a little bit higher.
Go in knowing the consumables are more expensive.
Yeah.
And the maintenance outside of what the dealer is providing for you can be expensive. So don't go in thinking you're getting a Camry, because it ain't a Camry.
No.
We're going to do a 3, 2, 1, and then you have to pick the one you want.
Okay. Is it going to be surprising? I mean...
Well, I think people at home want to see.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Macan.
Porsche.
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. I love it.
Okay, now...
And I got to say that base model, I'm okay with the base model. We drove the base model. It has plenty of power for what I need it for. And I just like that price point, under $70,000. Now, don't get me wrong. I could add more a la carte items and more packages, and I could get a base model Macan for, you know, probably up around $90,000.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get one for under $70,000.
I would either choose a Macan S or the M40 for the BMW. Those would be my choices in these. But that's the way I roll. I get it if you can, basically get into the 4-cylinder. There's no shame in that. All right, we're all done. Thank you very much for tuning in. We do these regularly. So first of all, you have to follow Andrea on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a comment in for a future video. And what else do they have to do, Andrea?
Well, you got to subscribe, hit that notification bell. We put out a lot of content each week, and then you can follow along.
And when will we see them next?
We'll see you next week.